this video is to tell you that I'm on vacation, and this will be the last video that I upload. This is the intro to it. And you know, I'm so sure that I'm Heru, that I got it tattooed on me. I knew I was a top martial artist, you know, just like I said in the challenge. You know, sportsmanlike conduct will be applied generously, but she will still lose because I'm Heru. And it's that simple. Understand me? There's no way around it. Understand me? And so, you know, you will hear a lot of bitch shit, but at the end of the day, I'm Heru. I'm the conqueror. You know, the guys in the comments say this little guy right here, you know, hiding from the spear, my Zulu spear, you understand me? Hiding from it, going, oh no, please, please. You know, they know that I'm a real warrior and that I'm the real deal, and I haven't worked out, you know, and fucking, you know, I'm getting weaker. You understand me? Because I haven't worked out in fucking 4 days. Injured myself, you know. This is me at the smallest I've been in the last 2 years, you know. And I'm still ready for combat, you understand me? I'm healed just enough to be ready for combat to a decent amount, you know. If I had to fight somebody, I'd injure myself fighting them, you know. I'd kill them and I'd be feeling it for a few days, and I'd be injured for, you know, at least a few more days than I would have been otherwise. And, you know, hopefully it all works out. You dig? I'm still Heru, still a protector, the Skywalker, Behutet, so on. In case you're wondering, this shirt was a gift. I don't like it because it's too small, but it allows me to easily lift up my shirt and show you, you know, you see the weapons, right? You see the weapons right here. Just right here you have, you know, the club, you have the bow and arrow, you have the Zulu shield, the spear and shield, symbols that make me a Zulu warrior. You understand me? And then you have the club again, Narmere, and Mene. Right? You see all these, you know, you guys are down here. See, it's me conquering people, and they're at my feet, destroyed. You know, like when I say that they're the dirt on my shoes, they are the dirt on my shoes. I am above them. I am Horse. You know, they're just whoever they are, you know. I believe it was a kangaroo, not a hat. For some reason I have a memory of a black hat, but look, it's worse than I thought. Right by that little Jewish thing, whatever it's called, I forgot what it's called. Someone gave my dad the regional with a kangaroo. Remember the atheist kangaroo guy? Oh man. So this is from a video of a severe allergic reaction to some sample heartburn drug. Now look at the next clip I'm going to play for you, which is going to be my reaction to their covert drugging. And I'm not taking any medications at this time. Even if I was, you know, it wouldn't mean anything because they're medications I've taken before for long periods of time. This is, you know, what I'm about to show you is my allergic reaction to the covert drugging, and it's on the neck as well. Allergic reaction to the covert drugging. Do you see it? Hopefully you see it on my neck. Okay, so I will start this video with an interview with a woman named Rahel, who has known me for 14 years, and the full interview is in my interview with T.I.'s and Perps gang stalking playlist. And it is important to note that she lives in the most populated apartment complex in San Jose, which is the 11th most populous city in America, I believe. There's about 1 million people.
All right, do you think that I need psychiatric medication or psychiatric help?
No. These things are like, yeah. They're one of my own normal friends.
Okay. So, with all the friends she has in her apartment complex, I'm one of the only quote-unquote normal, which means I am more normal than the average poor person in San Jose, which is fairly reasonable to say. Okay? So, do all poor people suffer from mental disorders? Or are they suffering from environmental factors? And what then is to be said about the fact that one of the few honest people say that I'm the most normal person that she knows, or the most normal friend that she has? Alright. It's also important to note that I've more than covered why my parents have sided with psychiatry over the years, and how you cannot trust anybody, and most likely including her, because logically, eventually they will get to her and try to get her to recant. Okay. Also, in the first clip, the last thing you should have seen is this part by Guachilla Joe, where he says he worked in MHMR, and they said they put sedatives in the food so that the mental patients remain calm. Okay, remember, this is the guy who graduated with a degree in psychology. Now to my notes. What is good for society is subjective. Okay? It's important to note. I'm sure we can all agree on that. Why? Because some people are religious, some people are atheists, some people want eugenics, some people want communism, some people think capitalism, so it becomes subjective. Somewhere there's a truth there, but when you're asking a people, or when you're looking for a consensus, it's subjective. You know, 100 years ago they thought one thing. Now they think another thing. 100 years from now, they'll probably almost certainly think another thing, you know, the majority of people. Okay? It's also important to note that speech patterns can be messed up from drugs, you know, alcohol, etc. But they say that this is, you know, a result of mental disorders, you know, disorganized speech, disorganized thinking. Okay? How many drugs are, you know, what are they saying? You know. So to say that, you know, somebody who is very familiar with alcohol and marijuana, such as myself, very familiar with prescription drugs and the effects they have, is delusional and, you know, doesn't know what he's talking about and isn't being drugged is a lie. My parents have a coffee machine. They put their mugs in the microwave and microwave their water because this stuff is drugged. Every once in a while, such as this morning, I'll make a cup out of habit and also to see if they're still drugging it. I took a few sips, major head change. You're going to see some disorganized speech and disorganized thinking as a result, just like in other clips and in past videos. Psychiatry forces medication on people and electroshock therapy. If you don't know what that is, look it up. This video is going to be long as it is. That is a violation of their sovereignty and human/civil/constitutional rights. I do not want to ever hear anyone who supports psychiatry doing things for the quote-unquote greater good cry about individual rights ever. Okay? Ever. Babies are part of society, and it is not good for them, nor the predominantly Judeo-Christian society, for people to abort their children. Lisa Ling, I believe her name was, the CNN, in the interview I did, or excuse me, in the clip I did, you know, I recorded from CNN talking about the Satanists. She pointed out that it's a predominantly Judeo-Christian society. So there you have liberal media saying the same thing that I am, that we all should know, that some idiots have tried to argue with me about. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. So you cannot then say, well, in the future they're going to see it this way, which is a stupid argument to make anyway, you know. So what do you have? You have gays, Satanists, feminists, and atheists disproportionately supporting psychiatry to attack religion. And then they're going to turn around and cry about how they're an oppressed minority and so on and so forth. But they support oppressing the individual for the quote-unquote greater good of the state. What do you call forced medication? If you have to force it, then they don't want that. They don't think it's best for them, you know? And if you were to do a study, a fair and balanced study of how many people who have been forced medicated, you know, are grateful for it, you'll probably see less than 10%, you know, which means they never change their mind. You know, I've been forced medicated before. I'm disgusted. I've been in the psych ward many times. I have never met a single person who was grateful that they were forced medicated, nor a single person who was grateful that they were forced on electroshock therapy. If you see people making those claims, it'll be a very small percentage of people that they've round up or a bunch of paid shills, you know. Black people are disproportionately targeted by psychiatry, abortion, and eugenics. You know, black people disproportionately have abortions because they're too poor. If you look at the bigger picture, you know, this eugenic system disproportionately targets blacks. Okay? So to say that, you know, for somebody to say, you know, at one moment that, you know, well, we have to respect the rights of the individual at all costs. And that's why we need to legalize gay marriage. That's why abortion should be legal. Sovereignty over the body. Then to turn around and say, force medicate that person because it's best for society in a predominantly Judeo-Christian society. Think about that. Think about how sick that is. Think about how wrong that is. Think about how typically evil that is. Now you see, underlying beliefs and conclusions based on logic and sometimes distorted facts with people who are accused of mental disorders. Okay, people believe that the government is after them. You know, it doesn't just pop in their head, magically, I think the government is after me. There'll be things that trigger that thought. They'll see suspicious looking cars. Maybe it was drugs that they took. Usually it's drugs. Usually when we're talking about real psychological disorders, we're talking about drugs. Drugs in the food that over time cause, you know, cognitive dysfunction. We're talking about, you know, prescription drugs. We're talking about street drugs, methamphetamines, cocaine. We're talking about marijuana that is laced. We're talking about LSD, you know, acid, you know, shrooms, PCP. The vast majority of cases, okay? And ironically, the same drug lobbies, same people who want to legalize street drugs, the same people who want to legalize marijuana tend to be the same pharmaceutical scum, you know, the same people who you know, have controlling interest in different pharmaceutical companies and so on and so forth. But that is a long topic for another day. I wanted to keep this clip short. It's very hard to because I touched on things that are, you know, 3-hour plus videos by themselves, every point. Even what is good for society is subjective. I can go on for 5 hours about that. Take you through history and so on. Psychiatry forces medication on people and electroshock therapy. I can go on about 5 hours through the history and so on. It is a violation of their sovereignty, human, civil, constitutional. I could go on about how they've historically done it, talk about the Constitution, talk about civil rights, talk about human rights human rights organizations that have spoken on psychiatric abuse and how you almost never, ever hear about it. I mean, I watch CNN clips every single day. I can't remember the last time I heard them mention a human rights organization that complains about psychiatric abuse. You know, RT does. And it makes you wonder because these things are disproportionately done by the West. It is disproportionately Western culture, Judeo-Western culture, if you will. Okay, the Eastern Europe does it a lot less, you know. And as a result, you see, you don't see the West talking about it, you know. And this is a huge problem. It kills over 500,000 people annually in Western countries alone. Hey, I could go on about Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world, or gays, Satanists, feminists, and atheists disproportionately support psychiatry to attack religion. And I have gone on about these things in other videos. I've more than proven that that is the case. Okay, I could go on about how black people are disproportionately targeted by psychiatry, abortion, and eugenics, and why that is, where I got the statistics, so on and so forth. A good documentary to look into is the Ma'afa. Okay, the genocide of blacks. being done by liberals for the most part. And of course, the rich people who own the companies that are doing it in the Republican Party. You see underlying beliefs and conclusions based on logic and sometimes distorted facts with others. I could go on about how my case proves beyond any doubt that everything that I believe was reached, I reached that conclusion as a result of connecting dots and over 10,000 valid sources, okay? So the person who knows me best, who lives in the most populated apartment complex, the one non-biased observer, says that not only is there nothing wrong with me, that I'm the most normal friend she has, and she has hundreds, if not thousands, of friends, okay? And very few, less than 10, have been accused of having a mental disorder. Now, number two, you see how they cannot debate me, okay? Number three, I am drugged even now, and even when I am drugged, I present a superior argument to the garbage that they present. I mean, when you look at the facts prove that I am right beyond any doubt. And they are provoking me beyond any doubt. Whenever you see me starting to lose my cool, what am I talking about and why? I'm talking about the oppressors because they're oppressing me in some form or fashion. Police harassment, covert drugging, all things that I've proven beyond any doubt. Beyond any doubt. I've proven beyond any doubt to the logical observer that they are covertly drugging me, that the police are harassing me, that the opposition view is harassing me, and the opposition views members are cyber attacking me. Okay, all these things by themselves are enough to make somebody very angry and want to lash out. Okay? So either the opposition view doesn't understand the word contradiction, doesn't understand the term superior contention, doesn't understand the nature of anger, doesn't understand the word subjective, or they are complete liars and scum. Either way, they need to shut the fuck up. I think we can all agree on that. Thank you. To make a long story short, there's no way I can prove this. This is probably one of the few claims, maybe even the only claim that I'm gonna make that I can't prove. And the reason why I can't prove it is they did it in a way that I couldn't prove it. And so that even if I could prove this person was in reform school, Cedar Reform School in San Bernardino, California, it would mean nothing. But those of you who are gang stalking victims and those of you who watch my videos, you know I'm about to tell you the truth. I've been talking about eugenicists for quite some time, especially in the last couple months. The gang stalkers had one of their members, perhaps a member of my family, leave a regional hat in my house, and there's also an explanation for that as well. An alternate explanation, which I do not accept for a minute. There's too many things pointing at it, and we all know these people like to do things hidden in plain view. Gang stalking, in fact, is a form of being hidden in plain view, hidden in plain sight. For those who can do the math, they know what's going on, but for everyone else, So they basically showed me step by step that they were going to do this operation. They were going to do it 12/2/2015, and I didn't put it together. I knew that it was weird, the things that they were doing. I knew that they were deliberate. I didn't know why they show me her. Now I do. I didn't know why they had the regional sat. Now I do. I couldn't have possibly known what they were getting at until it was too late. This is the person who catfished me. She actually drove by me on the road with another female that looked British, and a different person who pretended to be her also pretended to be British. This is her with another female. She looks very suspicious, but I have no idea who she is, and it was never fully explained to me who she is. Supposedly she talked to me for a little while, trying to play me out on behalf of her friend. Look at her shirt. I don't think I have to explain the relevance between that and Satanism. So, those are the main things. And today, somebody who looks like a family member of one of the people at La Silva Outpatient is Palo Alto, also where Zuckerberg lives, that's neither here nor there, drove by me on the road. And I'm sick and injured, so that kind of works in their favor, right? If I got upset and wanted to do something about it, what could I really do about it, you know? I mean, I could do something, but it would not be an opportune time. And I also made a video about it, you know. One of the gang stalkers pointed out to me that this shooting happened, and they said, you know, are you okay? You know, be careful, there's a shooter in San Bernardino, you know. And then they said they had family in San Bernardino, and this particular gang stalker also connects back to a Selva outpatient. And of course, I know many of you are going to think that I'm delusional or this is just a coincidence, so on and so forth. You know, I know that I'm not wrong about this, and I know that there isn't a single person who doesn't know how it is already who is going to believe it. But Satanists have made it personal with me. I have proven that beyond any doubt. People in secret societies have made it personal with me. I have proven that beyond any doubt. I've also proven that beyond any doubt that they like to do things hidden in plain view. They like to mess with the meanings, the true meaning, the esoteric, the occult, and so on. And so if you want to keep playing stupid and pretending like you're smart and pretending I'm crazy, you know, you're an idiot. Because these are Satanists and they mean business. And by themselves, they are cowards. But together, hiding behind law enforcement and people with legitimate power, you know, it emboldens them. You know, they grow a pair all of a sudden. You know, they're real brave when there's millions of them working together. But when you corner them by themselves and you fucking grab them by the neck, you know, you'll see a whole different side of them. Thank you. Satanists have been coming around before the shooting and after. This guy right here, some say he's the head of the Illuminati right now. He has his own Illuminati school in Italy. I don't know if he is or not, but this is a Satanist. You can tell by what he says. Pause it right now if you have to. He makes it clear that he hates God and he hates religions of any kind, exactly what I've been saying. The fatally demonic show, okay, this guy's trying to say that these people should take meds. This is on this video about, I think it was Paul Ryan about psych meds. Here's another one, make them take meds, a Satanist. Here's someone who sees it like me. Okay. Part of what makes a spiritual bottom feeder a savage, lowly form of life is their lifestyle and their inability to understand the importance of morality. Keep in mind that in the Bible, during the times the Bible was made and the books were written, alcoholism was the big problem. They didn't really have a problem with people smoking marijuana and people doing cocaine. These were small problems. You know, they didn't really have cocaine around. Marijuana was very few and far between. It wasn't a big thing. It was more on the east and you know, than it was in the west and so on. So the problem was alcohol, and the reason why alcoholism was a problem was because you didn't have a clear mind. We see this in 1 Peter 1:13. Therefore, prepare your minds for action. Keep sober in spirit. Fix your hope completely on the grace to be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. Now, I'm about to read you a bunch of scriptures. Basically, the reason I'm going to end part 1 this way is because they are pushing me toward Islam by what they are doing. Islam is a more extreme version of Christianity. The main difference, not just with the debate over the divinity of Christ and so on, is how you should act in a situation like this. I do believe you should act, you know, in a militant fashion. Okay? So keep in mind, all these verses have to do with why covertly drugging someone and force medicating someone violates their freedom of religion, not just their civil rights, human rights, and you know, a whole bunch of other constitutional rights. It also violates the freedom of religion. Okay? Obviously the freedom of speech, because it disrupts your speech patterns. Okay? 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. All this absolutely has what they're doing, has to do with what they're doing, the bigger picture. How they're trying to get you not to be focused, putting sugar in every drink they serve at fast food places and you know, commonly consumed beverages. It has also to do with the psychiatric agenda. Psychiatry, I refer to, when I say psychiatry, I mean psychiatrists, nurses, you know, all the people who view psychiatry favorably and work for psychiatry, therefore pushing the psychiatric agenda. So that's what I mean when I say psychiatry, you know, is full of scum, or psychiatry is doing this to me, and so on. Anyway, Galatians 5:21. I really don't want to make this long, but all these verses, you know, I'll put them in the comments. They all have to do with this. Proverbs 21, 1 Peter 4:7. You know, I'm just going to read that one real quick. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. Okay, sometimes they say sober. You know, sober from prescription drugs. 1 Thessalonians 5:6, 1 Timothy 3:2, Titus 2:2, Ephesians 5:18, Romans 12:13, Proverbs 23:29-35, 2 Timothy 4:5, 1 Corinthians 3:16-17, 1 Corinthians 8:9, 1 Corinthians 5:11, Isaiah 5:11, 1 Corinthians 6:10, 1 John 5:19, Romans 12:1, 1 Timothy 3:3. So, the law of God is greater than the law of the land, and you only follow the law of the land when it doesn't violate the law of the Lord. Now, many people will try to bring up, you know, maybe contradictions in the Bible, maybe the flood and evolution versus the creationist point of view, and so on and so forth. These are minor issues. When you see them in the news, it's to distract you and to discredit Christianity. The major issues here are the moral codes to be found in the three Abrahamic faiths, their commonalities. Being sober is one of their commonalities. Therefore, psychiatry is sacrilegious, especially when it comes to the three Abrahamic faiths. This is a war between those who believe in the morals given to us by the Abrahamic faiths and those who are spiritual bottom feeders, Satanists, the worst criminals, LGBT, feminists, atheists, and racists, especially scientific racists that use psychiatry and big pharma for the purpose of eugenics. Okay? And then there are people who have infiltrated the good guys' side, you know, the moral people's side, and are twisting scripture in order to push the agenda of the immoral dogs, the pseudo-scientific, racist crowd, the eugenicist trash, the spiritual bottom feeders I have just named not too long ago. I'm just eating a salad, but one last thought, and the salad is drugged. One last thought I want to leave you with in part one. Before I go on to part two, watch both parts all the way through. There's good stuff at the end in part two, just like this. There's good stuff at the beginning where I talk about the patches. Okay, they have Masonic patches that have to do with law enforcement. This is key. It shows a whole system of putting people in secret societies in law enforcement and giving them another patch. You know, people like having a bunch of patches in Masonry that they're proud of. You know, they say, look at this law enforcement patch. This is my military patch. This is my, you know, whatever. You know, my 33rd patch or whatever. Okay. Now, these people want to sedate everyone who does not sedate themselves. People sedate themselves when they have that beer after work. And if you drink too much, then they'll get you for drunk driving because you're likely to get, you know, in an accident and to get angry and so on and so forth. People sedate themselves with prescription pills, you know, with the doctor's orders and without. People sedate themselves with marijuana, with the doctor's orders and without. People sedate themselves different ways. Some of them do yoga, and you'll see mental health merging with Eastern philosophy and so on. So if you don't sedate yourself, they want to sedate you. Okay? They believe that you're not allowed to feel righteous indignation. And when you truly think about it, the only way to stop these people begins with feeling righteous indignation, which is the driving force behind the desire to stop them. If you do not feel righteous indignation, I guarantee you one thing, you're not one of the people who are trying to stop them, you know? And if they sedate you, you're going to be doing what I just did right now, ironically, stumbling over your words, having trouble speaking. Look at the Young Jeezy CNN interview. because he smokes a lot of marijuana, he had trouble expressing himself, and they like it like that. The only ones they want to be able to express themselves, quite elegantly are people who are parts of their secret societies, who are their puppets. Everyone else, they want to look like a babbling idiot who should shut up so the experts, quote unquote, can speak. These are a bunch of sedative promoting, drug pushing filth. Just like I pointed out at the end of the intro of this part 1, I know people that have worked in psych wards and mental health facilities who have told me that they put drugs in the food. I know they're putting drugs in the food. I know my parents are helping them. I know this. I know that if I leave here, it will be financial fucking suicide, economic suicide. I may as well just start throwing money up in the air every time I go out. Okay, I'm at home because the situation necessitates a superior, conservative sort of economic strategy. I have to be very practical. I have to be very smart with my spending. I can't spend $1,500 to $1,000+ a month on rent. I have to be very smart. The things that I buy are smart. I could buy very expensive versions of what I buy. I could buy expensive clothes. I could buy expensive statues. I prove my point in the most economic fashion possible. And these people are trying to sedate me and trying to provoke me. Depending on what they're trying to do that day is what drugs they put in my food. If they're trying to get me to the psych ward, then they're fucking gonna put stimulants. If they're trying to fucking sedate me so I put on a bad martial arts show or, whatever, my parents want me to be calm or something, that's what they'll do. They've done both. And they've also tried putting more powerful drugs, mescaline, LSD. Yeah. Okay? And this causes brain damage. I guarantee you if I had a brain scan, there would be something wrong with it, and it would have everything to do with the drugs and the stress that they have been putting me through. The full interview is in my interview with T.I.'s and Perks gang stalking playlist. And it is important to note that she lives in the most populated apartment complex in San Jose, which is the 11th most populous city in America, I believe. There's about 1 million people.
All right. Do you think that I need psychiatric medication or psychiatric help?
No. These things are kind of like, yeah. They're one of my only normal friends.
Okay. So, with all the friends she has in her apartment complex, I'm one of the only quote-unquote normal, which means I am more normal than the average poor person in San Jose, which is fairly reasonable to say. Okay? So do all poor people suffer from mental disorders? Or are they suffering from environmental factors? And what then is to be said about the fact that one of the few honest people say that I'm the most normal person that she knows, or the most normal friend that she has? Alright. There's also... And I'm still ready for combat, you understand? I'm healed just enough to be ready for combat to a decent amount. If I had to fight somebody, I'd injure myself fighting them, I'd kill them and I'd be feeling it for a few days, and I'd be injured for, at least a few more days than I would have been otherwise. And, hopefully it all works out. You dig? I'm still Helru, still a protector, the Skywalker, Behutet, so on. In case you're wondering, this shirt was a gift. I don't like it because it's too small, but it allows me to easily lift up my shirt and show you, you see the weapons right here. See the weapons right here. Just right here you have, the club, you have the bow and arrow, you have the Zulu shield, the spear and shield, symbols that make me a Zulu warrior. You understand me? And then you have the club again, Narmere, and Mene. Alright. You see all these, you guys are down here. See, it's me conquering people, and they're at my feet, destroyed. Like when I say that they're the dirt on my shoes, they are the dirt on my shoes. I am above them. I am Horus. They're just whoever they are, believe it was a kangaroo, not a hat. For some reason I have a memory of a black hat, but look, it's worse than I thought. Right by the little Jewish thing, whatever it's called, I forgot what it's called. Someone gave my dad the regional with a kangaroo. Remember the atheist kangaroo guy? Oh man. So this is from a video of a severe allergic reaction to some sample heartburn drug. Now look at the next clip I'm going to play for you, which is going to be my reaction to their covert drugging. And I'm not taking any medications at this time. Even if I was, you know, it wouldn't mean anything because they're medications I've taken before for long periods of time. This is, you know, what I'm about to show you is my allergic reaction to the covert drugging, and it's on the neck as well. Allergic reaction to the covert drugging. Do you see it? Hopefully you see it on my neck. This video is to tell you that I'm on vacation, and this will be the last video that I upload. This is the intro to it. And you know, I'm so sure that I'm Heru, that I got it tattooed on me. I knew I was a top martial artist, you know, just like I said in the challenge. You know, sportsmanlike conduct will be applied generously, but she will still lose because I'm Heru. It's that simple. Understand me? There's no way around it. Understand me? So, you know, you will hear a lot of bitch shit, but at the end of the day, I'm Heru. I'm the conqueror. You know, the guys in the comments say this little guy right here, you know, hiding from the spear, my Zulu spear, you understand me? Hiding from it, going, oh no, please, please. You know, they know that I'm a real warrior and that I'm the real deal, and I haven't worked out, you know, and fucking, you know, I'm getting weaker. You understand me? Because I haven't worked out in fucking 4 days. Injured myself, you know. This is me at the smallest I've been in the last 2 years, you know. Okay, so I will start this video with an interview with a woman named Rahel, who has known me for 14 years. And